Hi everyone, it's the Broker Builder. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you guys inside the scenes and show you how we built the whiskey wall. Let's do it.
Alright, here's what we got behind me here. A custom whiskey wall. My client's got a ton of whiskey, so we're going to get it done for him. Let's get to work. Here's what we got so far. Butcher block, actually walnut butcher block countertop. It's going to be beautiful once we get some condition on here. 3 base cabinets are already set. A 33 on the end, and a 36 in the middle. The middle is going to have glass doors. I got to go pick those up next week. They're not done yet. After this, I'm going to take you guys back to my shop in Tampa. We're going to build the built-ins. We're going to have 3 built-ins on top to mimic the size of the cabinets. And then once we get those installed, I'm going to get my man Walnuts over here. We're going to hook it up with some lighting. It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it, so stick with us.
Alright friends, here I am. I'm using some rigid foam board to break down my plywood sheets. I found that this is the easiest way to do this and the safest. Unless you have a huge shop and you want to spend $3 on a panel saw like the one they have at Home Depot, I think this is going to be your best bet. You can also cut this foam board in half, so if you're a traveling carpenter, you can use it on some sawhorses and break down your plywood that way. Alright, here I am measuring for the height of my uppers, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut these with my track saw because it's going to allow me to get it into a manageable piece where I can rip it down to depth on my sides and my top and bottom on the table saw. Okay, I've got my track saw here, and let's go ahead and make sure that you adjust it properly for depth. And we'll go ahead and make the cuts. Alright, I got my next piece here, and I am using Baltic birch here, which is really the type of plywood you want to use when you have paint grade project, and you can find it at usually your local lumber stores. Home Depot usually doesn't carry it, or your big boxes, but you can find this at your local hardwood dealer. Okay, I'm at the table saw, and I'm going to go ahead and get this blade changed to a specific plywood rip blade. And the reason you want to change your blades out when you're doing different procedures is that it's just going to give you a nicer cut. If you change to real hardwood of any sort, you wouldn't want to use this particular plywood blade. Alright, here you're going to see me ripping the sides and the bottoms of the uppers to their final width or depth. And as I was telling you, this is about, the largest size I would want to try to manage on a table saw. You can certainly sling large full sheets up there, but it can be dangerous. All right, here you're going to see me laying out my dados. Just going to get them laid out so that when I am actually cutting them on the saw, if one of my marks is completely out of place, I know that I've screwed something up. Okay, now I've got to get my dado stack put into the table saw. You want to make sure that your saw is always unplugged when you go to do things like this. You don't want that thing turning on, and that would ruin your day really quick. So my dad actually gave me an old school dado stack that he had laying around. It was from Sears, and I took it to the local lumber yard and had it sharpened, and it works pretty good. So you'll see me get it out here in a minute, and we'll go ahead and get it installed. All right, here you're going to see me put in a table saw insert plate that I actually made. And really I just traced the insert plate that came with the table saw. Maybe I'll do a video on how to do that. But obviously the one that is wide enough for a single blade is not going to work for the Dado stack. So you saw me insert that there. And then what I'm doing here is I'm testing the cut to see if I've got enough room for the shelves to fit in there in the Dado, or if I've got too much room, I don't want a lot of wiggle in there. You want a nice, tight, snug fit. All right, everything was fitting nice and tight, and so we're going to go ahead and measure for our first set of Dados. Between all three uppers, we had 6 sides to run through there. And then what you'll see is after I cut those all, we'll go ahead and adjust for the next one, so on and so forth. All right, after we get our Dados cut, we got to go ahead and swap out the blade, or actually take the Dado stack out of there and put the plywood blade back in. I think in this case I have an 80-tooth Freud melamine and plywood blade I picked up at Rockler, I believe, but obviously you guys can get it on Amazon, and there's other options as well. So I've got my trusty Rockler crosscut sled here, and what I'm going to do now is cut all these shelves to size, and I'm off here to the right setting up a stop block. One cool thing about the Laguna is I can flip my fence to a high mode or low mode in order to do this kind of stuff. I don't have enough room on the left side to do it. I got a miter station in progress there being built, and I do apologize. My shop is a disaster. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any tips or tricks on how to keep your shop clean. But we're going to go ahead and get these all cut to size, and then we'll go ahead and start to fit some of them together. Alright, what you see here is I just laid them out and made sure that everything looked right before I got the rest of them zipped, and everything looks good, so we're going to press forward. Alright, I got one of the uppers laid out here. I'm using glue clamps and screws to put everything together. Only one side of one upper is going to be exposed, and so I won't use any screws on that side, but the rest of the stuff's going to be hidden. So between the glue and the screws, I feel very confident that these shelves will be sturdy enough and will not start to bow. They're also within the acceptable means of span, and then they're also going to have a solid wood face frame. So again, not worried one bit about single ply here. And as we move here, you'll see me check for square at the end, and everything looks good. So I went ahead and put the other two together, and then we're going to get the backs on them. Hey, good morning, everyone. All right, we got all the uppers built and assembled yesterday, and went ahead and used 1/4 inch birch on the back, glued them, and hit them with some pound staples. So we are going to go ahead and got them sitting all over the shop here. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys loaded up in the box trailer, and we'll see y'all over there. Okay, we're back at the job site, and I got my man Paulie Walnuts here today. And what we're going to do is get the uppers fastened to the wall. I forgot to film us bringing them in. And we're getting them fastened to the wall right now, and then we'll begin working on the face frame. You'll see me come in here, and I'm going to start working on scribing the face frame to the right side of the wall there. We chose to do this in place just because it was going to be easier in this scenario. We weren't sure about some of the measurements on the crown and the reveal we were going to leave and that sort of thing, so we just wanted to just do it in place. I'm running around like a maniac trying to find my scribing tool. And I actually couldn't find it, so I had to do it manually, but it turned out pretty nice. Alright, so here it is all primed up and ready to go. I chose to use my Graco battery-powered sprayer for this particular job, and I'll make sure I put a link down in the description. I'm going to put a link to everything we use for this project in the description, and you know, we don't make a lot if you use that link, but a tiny little fraction, and it helps us keep these videos going, so we would greatly appreciate, you know, if you do want to purchase anything, that you use one of our links down in the description. And so I'm getting her sprayed up here. I don't fancy myself to be a professional painter, but just got to watch your overspray in these scenarios. And I had some drippage in the back too, but the lighting wasn't great in there, and you couldn't see it with this dark paint. But so you got to look it over really good when you're finished to make sure you get those drips and check them every little bit while it's drying. I could have did this before I brought it in to assemble, but the client was a little bit of rush, and we wanted to get this thing done, and so I chose to just do it in place. It's tough to find good painters to do this kind of stuff too. You know, today you've got just a lot of guys doing new construction, and you know, you don't really have to be that neat, but you know, painting this type of enamel on these cabinet type projects, it can get a little tricky. So you have to be willing to, you know, take some pride in it and really take your time. So I'm just cleaning up a few things. Alright, here she is all painted up. And we're going to let that dry. And it's tough to see here, but on the right hand side, by the wall on the right side of the cabinets, we left about 2.5 to 3 inches there, and that's where all the wiring is going to come down through into the lower cabinets. Alright friends, we've got the whiskey wall complete. The lighting was a little bit of a problem, but we ended up getting her done in the long run, but a little more complicated than you think it would be. But in any case, she is all done. Got our walnut top all conditioned. Got our cabinet pulls installed. We used poplar for the face frame, as you saw in the video. And she is ready to be stocked. See you on the next one.